What up, niece?
I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they do some sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they tell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at JBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
What up? Y'all know what to do. Sup with it.
The messenger for Omila, dwelling at the crossroads on the woman here. Search first, gatekeeper, pathfinder, path leader. He's a fighter, shapeshifter, and he'll protect your home. With the eyes in the front and the back of the head, to chase away the evil forces. We can be there instead, so long as you bring the offense. He's got the ashe I can't deny. I am a witness, I'll testify. This song, my oniki, my sacrifice to the one who can do and undo.
Let's tell the truth. You don't actually want love. Not yet. What you want, what you've been chasing, is to be picked, chosen, validated. You want someone to point at you and say, you're it. You're finally enough now. I see you. I choose you. Because somewhere deep down in your system, you internalized a very dangerous equation. To be chosen is to be safe. To be desired is to be valuable. To be wanted is to be worthy. And anything that threatens that equation, anything that reminds you that real love is quiet and steady, you reject it. Because being picked by someone you had to earn, especially someone emotionally unavailable, chaotic, hard to impress, that feels like redemption. That feels like healing. It's not. It's just another performance. You know what? Let's rewind, because this didn't start with romance. This started long before. Maybe it was a parent whose love you had to earn. A caregiver who praised you only when you were useful, but never when you were hurting. A family system that rewarded performance and punished emotional needs. So you adapted. You learned to be easy, charming, smart, helpful, pleasant, never too much. You became whoever you needed to be just to avoid abandonment. You became the version of yourself that was most likely to be chosen. And the version of you that wasn't, you buried them. Now you're growing, but the wound remains. You say you want love, but what you mean is validation. You say you want partnership, but you mean a witness who will finally say you're good enough.
Ooh.
You mistake anxiety for chemistry. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You mistake distance for mystery.
Mm.
You mistake someone's unpredictability for a challenge you need to win. Because deep down, you believe that the harder they are to earn, the more valuable you must be if they choose you. So you chase unavailable people and call it fate. You pine after the one who won't text back and call it romantic tension. You ignore the steady love that feels unfamiliar because deep down your nervous system is wired for chaos.
Ooh.
Let me say this as clearly as possible.
Please.
You are not addicted to love. You are addicted to performance. You are addicted to pursuit. You are addicted to trying to prove that you're enough. And love? True, grounded, emotionally secure love. It won't make you prove anything. Which is why it feels boring. Because real love doesn't spike your nervous system. It doesn't trigger your flight or fight. It doesn't make you question your worth every 5 minutes. Real love doesn't feel like conquest. It feels like home. And to someone who was raised to perform, home feels suspicious because it doesn't ask you to earn it. So my darling, what are you really afraid of? Because you're not afraid of rejection. You are afraid of being seen without the sparkle. You are afraid of being held when you're not impressive. You are afraid of being truly known. Because what if when you finally stop performing, no one stays? What if when the mask comes off, the love disappears? That's the core wound. That's the haunting fear. So you keep reaching for the fantasy. If I can get that person to choose me, that person, the avoidant one,
Right.
the emotionally distant one,
Uh-huh.
the one who doesn't choose anyone,
My.
maybe I'm finally good enough. But that's not healing. That's self-abandonment in disguise. That's tying your worth to someone else's inability to love properly. You don't want to be loved. You want to be exceptional. You want to be the one who changed them. You want to be the one they couldn't ignore. You want to be the person who finally got through to someone who would never let anyone else in. Because if you can earn the love of the emotionally unavailable, then maybe finally you can stop doubting yourself. You can stop asking what's wrong with you. But this is where the whole thing collapses, my love. Because even if they choose you, you still won't believe it.
Ooh.
Because the wound didn't begin with them. It began with you. And no one can love you into healing the parts of yourself you refuse to meet. So how do you heal this? How do you go from chasing validation to actually letting yourself be loved? First, you grieve. You grieve the self who thought she had to be desirable to be kept. You grieve the little girl who believed she had to be perfect to be loved. You grieve the teenage version of you who thought being picked was proof of her value. And then you unlearn. You stop turning love into a reward system. You stop auditioning. You stop...
Man, Pearl Lee, is that her name, Andy? Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy in the name of sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce. My goodness, she was cooking. And let me just add on, because this is an important topic, as they all are. Like, I want us to be serious about relating. Many of us just want to have fun. Many of us just want stimulation. We just want some kind of movement to feel like we're going somewhere, we're doing something. And she alluded to it earlier. Real love is boring because there's nothing else to conquer. There's nothing else to acquire. See, when you're empty, ambition becomes the mission, right? When you're empty, you may have relational ambition. I need somebody to love me the way I deserve to be loved. When you're empty, right? When you're financially empty, oh, I need to get this bread, right? I got to go get this paper. Get rich or die trying, right? See, let me tell you something. Ambition exists where there is scarcity. Ooh, but when you tap into the infinite source of all that is, sometimes called love, sometimes called God, you find that the quest for more evaporates. Tonight's topic, man. Sister, I had to let her rock because she was cooking. Why isn't this show the most important show in America? It should be. You know why? Because we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of why we're put here to relate. Do you understand? You're here to relate so that all of that stuff can come to the surface and be claimed by its owner. And once it's claimed, right, it gets to enter this transformation portal, this transmutation portal. The Thespian lover. Who wrote your script? A deeper look at the spiritual degradation caused by relational performance and why it's no longer working in your favor. Are we mere actors and actresses in love's theater? Trapped by Peter Pan syndrome and the wounded inner child who never outgrew their traumatic past. Our hearts, once scarred and abandoned, cling to a perpetual state of arrested development or arrested youth, a safeguard against unbearable pain. In a world that prizes scripted perfection, relationship goals, right? Relationships remain frozen, blending cognitive empathy with unhealed childhood experiences and wounds. Beneath rehearsed gestures, a quiet voice of the inner child pleads for genuine intimacy. What if dismantling these rehearsals, these love rehearsals, these attachment rehearsals, right? What if that unveils a luminous truth about yourself? In shedding roles forged by past trauma, we might be able to liberate our true selves and rekindle a transformative self-love, inviting us to embrace vulnerability, igniting authentic connection, first with ourselves, then with others, thus shattering these eternal chains. Do we live in the illusion of authentic intimacy? Don't act like you faking it a lot of times. I'm gonna fake it this time just so I can avoid conflict. I'm gonna fake it this time because I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of abandonment. After all these years, I'm still afraid. The illusion of authentic intimacy, unmasking the Thespian lover. Here's your psychological insight. Recognize that habitual role playing in relationships often spring from early attachment insecurities, triggering scripted behavior to mask vulnerability. Here's your empirical insight. Research shows that individuals who rely on performative empathy tend to report lower levels of relational satisfaction and diminished genuine connection. Let's ask the question, are you scared of connection? Are you afraid of vulnerability? Are you afraid of intimacy? Are you afraid of closeness? You want it from others, but are you afraid to give it unconditionally? Real questions for real people, for real adults. 1-800-920-1580. your philosophical insight. Question the underlying essence of authentic love versus artificial love. Challenge the notion that love must be performed rather than experienced. We can fake spiritual all day. How many of y'all been to a sound bath where they got the little bowls out? You know, they got the little sound bowls, and then they got the little rain making thing. You hear all this. You're immersed in the sound. You're experiencing a sound bath. Have you ever experienced love like that? Yeesh. Right? Love is not something to be done. Oh, love is a verb. Real love is a verb. It's an action. It's what you do. No, 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 no. It's who you are. No one told you that you're supposed to become love, so it is not a demand or expectation of your partner. You say, well, how do you get love from somebody else? Is it wrong to expect love from somebody else? No, 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 no. Relationships reflect. Do you see? You become love, it gets reflected back to you. You start to magnetize experiences that are in alignment with what you are. Do you see? Do you understand? Nobody taught us this. Your metaphysical and spiritual insight here. Embrace the idea that true intimacy emerges when we dissolve our predetermined roles. And I'm not talking about gender roles. I'm talking the role of who we think we are, the character. That's a better term, right? Allowing the soul's genuine expression to surface. Deeper questions. How genuine are you in your relationship? We know many of us perform. Many of us put on a show. Many of us don't mind soft shoeing and tap dancing in order to maintain the relationship, right? What about performative masculinity and femininity? The artificial fronting, stunting, and positioning versus true vulnerability. When I come forward, the voice of reason, going to keep this bonfire burning. But more importantly, I'm inviting you, right, to call in and share your experience. What have you learned from your relationships? What have they taught you about your performative ways? Is the performer in you the tool you use to recognize the performer in them? And are you frustrated with their performance, yet not frustrated with your own? Is there some cognitive dissonance there? When we come forward, the voice of reason shall keep cooking.
Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Phil Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. You ready?
Somebody make some noise.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
What up, y'all? How my people doing? Can I get everybody to hit the like button? Can I get everybody to hit the like button? Can everybody hit that like button for me? It's free.
June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus
The Science of Love, John Baines, Truth Hurts. Great book.
thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate climate justice work. On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
With the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend. I can't wait to hear it. This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership.
What it do, Zoe? What up, John Gilbreth?
Celebration and dialogue to
So you can call it.
educate,
I'm just chilling from the stress of the day, no doubt.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most
Call in, hit that like button.
and you're invited to join. All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, my friends, my birthday is Friday. Come on, support the channel. Now's a good time to do it. Oh, Eric Fromm is great. The Art of Loving, yeah.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions.
Come on.
You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you.
Yes, sir. Friday.
Free legal services for eligible tenants and online resources.
Come on, y'all, get in here.
Call our hotline at 188-694.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on the air, so y'all might as well show your love for your brother. Go, T.O. It's your birthday.
Your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Come on, man. Yeah.
So we know that a man who's really cooking, I like to say cooking on in these circuits, he knows how to have fun. He may be developing the capacity for a deep, sustaining joy. He will be comfortable in his body, and he is quite able to display himself physically without the spoiling effect of shame. And often that will come out in his being a good dancer. It will often come out in that respect. Is there anything else you would add to what you would include that a man that can do blank or who manifests this characteristic has got a lot of material lover stuff, yeah?
The main mother is cooking. So cooking and love food.
And that gets us, thank you for that, cooking, because that actually gets us to the other thing I wanted to kind of close with. Will you share with us all the things that you've done which have helped you embody this lover energy? Cooking. Now, see, I admire you. I always say admire the guys that can do things that you're not that good at, you know, and so that you can try to be more like them. In my old age, I hope to get to where I can cook, because I think that's what really becoming a good cook is a great way to let the lover come out in all kinds of dimensions. So thank you for that. Others, yeah.
To be able to improvise his music and rhythm.
Ah, yes. Playing music. Right, exactly. Others.
Gardening.
Gardening is another big one. In fact, the image of the different spaces, or the archetypal spaces, You know, there's the field of battle we've been hearing about. But the garden is really a great image, and always has been a great image for the lover. And gardening is, it requires a pretty mature lover, because you really got to care about the plants, right? Other comments, things that you have experienced that have opened you up. Dresses. Fashion. A sense about how you can, yeah. 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 Yeah.
Listen, what he's saying reminds me of The Shrouded Lighthouse. The book I wrote or released in 2021. I wrote it and released it in 2021. Again, men who have talents usually let those talents speak for themselves. Right? And I tell my daughter, never date a man's talent, date his character. Because the talent is the magic he uses to swoon you. Behavior is language. And for hurt people, I've got to act a certain way. I got to act like I'm not hurt. I got to act like I'm not bothered. Do you see? Don't date the talent, date the character. That takes a little bit of discerning, right? Oh, he made me laugh. Well, he's a comedian. Oh, he can sing. Yes, he has a beautiful voice, right? Or she has a beautiful voice. Sometimes we get caught up in the talents of folk. Just because someone is uber talented does not mean they are rooted in what the West African calls iwapwele, good character. Do you see? I know you don't want me to put it this way, but what I'm trying to tell you is this is what performative relating is. I'm going to act right so that I don't disrupt my supply. If the supply I have wards off loneliness, if the supply I have brings me sex, if the supply I have is a type of relational multivitamin that I use as a supplement for what I didn't get in childhood, I'm going to perform to keep it because I haven't learned to cultivate it from within. You could free your partner up if you cultivated it from within. You could not have that as a deal-breaking expectation. Do you understand what's happening? Listen, when the voice of reason returns, the phone lines are going to get cracking. Let's do it. Peter Pan wore tights and hung around young boys, right? What are we on? What are we talking about? What happened? Diamond Blue, what up, what up, what up? Everybody's in here. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please, 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 please hit the like button. Please hit that like. Oh, tapped in says bots. Got it. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Jack got to find the weirdest of all angles. Oh, no, it was me. Okay. Peace, peace, peace to everybody that's in here. Peace, peace, peace. Put your city in here. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from. Peace, peace, peace. Let me know where you're from. Peace, 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 peace. Let me know where you're from. Nzinga in the building, tapped in. Diamond Blue, John Gilbreth, my niece. Who else? I'm reading everybody's name, so say something so I can see your name, so I can say what up to you directly. King Joseph, Southwest, Central 310. I know what it is. Suge Mac 510. Yee yee. The town is in here. Mountain View, Hawaii in here. Jacksonville, Florida. We got John. We got Pretty Brown Mimi. I'm in Houston for now. Attila in the building. In Zing Zang. In Zinga. Come on, in Zinga. Jack Brazen. Sui Sauce. Sui Sun. Sway Sun. Sassoon. Sassoon. Sassoon City, California. God's folks say. Lost Boys say, sweet son. Come on, her home of J.R. Ewing. Come on, Dallas. Is Ghetto Gourmet okay after the bad weather? Do we know? No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard. I popped up behind Unc one day. What? What? Come on, Deanna. Peace, fam. She said the nap is in the house. Yeah, I hope Heru is all right because the weather has been kind of crazy out here. Hey, let's all tap into his social media. Anybody that's following him, let's all tap in. Drop him a note. Everybody, let's tap in. Hey, we only got about 15 people responding. I want to get some folk. Talk to me. Put your city in. Say hello. And don't be afraid to support the channel. Don't be afraid to support the channel. Let's do it. When he was on last, he said the sirens were going off, so just checking. Yay area dominating LOL Frisco in the virtual house. Yep. All right. We got about a minute left.
Featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number because Ray, he's going to text it live and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition. what is Peter Pan syndrome, really? At its core, it's the inability or deep unwillingness to grow up. Not physically, of course, but emotionally, socially, and psychologically. People with Peter Pan syndrome often avoid adult responsibilities, resist emotional intimacies, struggle to commit, and tend to act impulsively or selfishly. They may lack long-term goals, financial independence, or the ability to regulate their emotions like mature adults. Think of it as emotional adolescence stretched far past its expiry date. And no, it's not always just man babies. While Kylie originally focused on men, we now know that people of any gender can experience those patterns. It's just that the way it manifests might differ depending on cultural norms and expectations. There's a deep discomfort with adulthood, not just its responsibilities, but the identity that comes with it. People with Peter Pan syndrome don't just fail to grow up, they actively resist it. Adulting feels like a trap, a boring, soul-sucking, joy-killing machine of bills, jobs, commitments and compromises. And so they retreat into what feels safe, the comfort of youth. Now, let's pause for a moment. This isn't about shaming anyone, because when you scratch beneath the surface, Peter Pan syndrome often has roots in trauma, anxiety, or deeply unmet needs. No one wakes up one day and says, you know what, I'm just never going to mature emotionally. It's more complex than that. Many people with Peter Pan traits come from homes where they were either overprotected or neglected. On one end, helicopter parenting creates adults who don't know how to make decisions or cope with failure. On the other, neglect can lead to emotionally immaturity because the child never had the chance to develop healthy coping skills or stable self-worth. Now, in both cases, the person may develop a deep fear of responsibility because responsibility feels like danger, like pressure, like inevitable failure. Excuse me. There's often also a connection to avoidant attachment styles. People with Peter Pan syndrome may struggle to form and maintain healthy relationships. Commitment feels claustrophobic, vulnerability feels unsafe. Instead, they chase newness, fun, surface level excitement, anything to avoid. So maybe you got to hear from Dumbledore. You got to hear from Harry Potter. Those say the same thing every day. Well, not every day, but I've said it a million times. Maybe you got to hear from somebody else. You know? Very interesting questions. Peter Pan syndrome. How does that tie into this performative piece? Right? I know how. And I have a caller that's going to tell me how in a second. But if you missed it because of the gentleman's heavy accent, Peter Pan syndrome, PPS, is a popular psychology term used to describe an adult who has difficulty growing up and often exhibits socially immature behavior. The term is derived from the fictional character Peter Pan, who never ages. And while it is not a recognized clinical diagnosis, it reflects the challenges some adults face in accepting adult responsibilities. Well, let's go even deeper. When you're wounded in your childhood, oftentimes the inner child or the inner Peter Pan lives in you. That child gets stuck in that moment, that inner child. Something happened in your formative years that was traumatic,
right? Oftentimes we stay stuck there, irrespective of our chronological age. I've got callers on the line. Let's get them in here. Attila, Houston, Texas. Get up on in here.
What up?
What are your
What
thoughts?
up, Unc?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good.
I sound like you now. I okay.
Excuse me. Come on in here, niece. You know what we own. Let's get it.
Yes, I do. Yes. So I added the element with the Peter Pan syndrome because it's just a theory. It might be a leap. But I think a big part of the reason why we're performing is because we're performing the role of a wounded child so that we don't have to grow up. So, like, if that person is, like, your surrogate parent, in the sense that, like, they are modeling after the original wound that you had from a parent, it makes sense why you'd be kept in a perpetual state of adolescence, like spiritual adolescence.
Spiritual adolescence. Please go deeper into that. I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think, the guy pretty much covered it, but I kind of think of it as basically something that retards your growth spiritually. But that can also affect you in the physical as well. Like, I think he mentioned not being able to commit or just not being able to form, proper relationships and things like that. Like, these are things that we would go to a counselor for, and they go through your trauma, right? And all of that trauma is hitting at the Peter Pan syndrome. What is the real reason you don't want to mature? What's holding you back?
Wow. You know what's deep about that? All spirituality is acceptance without judgment.
Yeah.
Embracing, right? Like, the little inner child can't grow up if you never embrace the inner child without judgment. That's the reason why they're still there and still whining and having a temper tantrum, is because you've never turned to it and embraced it. Now, here's the thing. Many people don't know how to do that and may need to be guided in that practice, so therapy is big. That's a good thing. But I think the Peter Pan piece was a nice touch. I think, yes, a lot of people are carrying a wounded Peter Pan within their spirit. And like the guy said in the clip, it doesn't matter. It's not gender specific. So that's a big deal. I think that's good too. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of, I don't know what you would say for the female version, but yeah, there's a lot of women who go through this as well. And I would say there's like 4 things that I kind of cornered in regards to this topic that I think would help in terms of like things that maybe you want to observe yourself doing or see if it is something that you do. And the first one being trading in your self-worth for temporary favor. Even on the most like logical of levels, right? Like when you think about like the workplace, we're often kind of groomed to basically trade in our time for money. So we're already used to this level of transactionalism, and this also happens in the spiritual realm. It happens when you give up your spiritual worth to get the favor, validation, or whatever you call it from another person, right? That kind of goes into like basically the people pleasing. The second thing I would say is that you need to release the resentment that you have around your pain, and that's something that I've had to do a lot of work in recently. Like I said, if you think you're healed, go home.
Wow.
I went home.
Attila, I love you, child. I love you, niece. We appreciate you always coming in and cooking with the rarest grease. Guess what you just did? Houston, Texas is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. And when we come forward, we're going to talk about how they define Peter Pan syndrome in women. Let's go. Great call, Attila in the building. Who's calling? Y'all calling? Who's getting on the phone lines? Miss J.B. Man, hey, everybody put JB up on the topic. Y'all share your thoughts with Miss JB. Can y'all do that? And y'all can add her, right? So just put at and put her name there. Make sense? That's all y'all got to do. Tell her what the topic is. Catch her up. Miss J Bizzle. And no one is telling her. I'm trying to get them to catch you up on the topic. Ida, you never know the topic, and that's okay. You be an hour and a half into the show and be like, "What's the topic?" It's your norm. Who's calling in? Our good brother Reggie sent us a Cash App, so I'm very appreciative. I know what it is. It's that damn fan. That's better. Yes, thank you, Reggie. If you guys want to support, please do so. You can go to my Cash App, or you can go to the dollar sign down at the bottom. JB, your birthday coming.
Can observe also an activity of the brain, that it is really like a computer that's been programmed and remembers.
Well, certainly a large part of the activity is that way, but one is not certain that all of it is that way.
And it is conditioned.
Yes.
Conditioned by past generations, by the society, by the newspapers, by the magazines, by all the activities and pressure from the outside. It's conditioned.
Yes, now what do you mean by this conditioning? Just so what does it...
It is programmed. It is made to conform to a certain pattern, lives entirely on the past, modifying itself in the future, in the present, and going on.
Wow. The great Krishnamurti. sitting with the great Dr. David Bohm, theoretical physicist, talking about the structure and the nature of the mind and how it is conditioned. Listen, I told you this before. Wherever there's a pattern, right, there will be a need, right? The pattern needs something. There's a longing. Wherever there's unconditionality, love has no bounds. Anything that's unconditional forgiveness, unconditional freedom, right, has no bounds. Where there's a pattern, there will be a pursuit. There will be some type of chase. People don't understand that. In intimate relationships, you got a pattern. Some people say, oh, well, I got a secure pattern. Secure doesn't mean perfect, right? And secure patterns can be pulled insecure, right? People don't recognize that. Nobody gets to escape from the self-work. It's got to happen. Now that we've come full circle, after coming forward, this Peter Pan syndrome piece is very interesting. In many cultures, women are defined as the people who nurture and handle household and family responsibilities, including caring for, bathing, and feeding the children. Peter Pan syndrome has listen to this piece, has the partner clinging to their mate as the nurturer, someone they can attach to so that their needs can be met. Does that sound like codependence to you? You stay in a state of perpetual neediness, they're calling it the Peter Pan syndrome, and how it manifests in women. Let's see how it manifests in men. Peter Pan syndrome, difficulty growing up and facing adult responsibilities. Peter Pan syndrome refers to adults, particularly men, who have difficulty growing up, failure to launch, and facing adult responsibilities. It describes individuals who may age physically but remain emotionally immature, often struggling with typical adult tasks such as maintaining jobs and relationships. I don't know who put relationships in there, because relationships aren't the easiest thing to manage, especially if you don't know yourself. The term was popularized by psychoanalyst Dan Kelly in the 1980s and is largely associated with males reflecting societal expectations and gender roles. Very interesting. What are some signs that you are a thespian lover? In other words, an actor, a relationship actor. And when you act, what type of awards are you trying to win? Are there some relationship Oscars and Tonys that you're after? What are you after? I'm interested to know. How might getting rid of your performative nature make way for more authenticity and stronger connections? Is it the pressure to keep up the performance in relationships that scares people off from commitment? I won't be able to keep this thing going. And do you stop the charade, right, after you get what you want? Many men know this. I'm not saying women don't do it, but many men know this practice. Is the necessity for commitment a part of the performance as well? I'm interested to know, right? How do you define the thespian lover within your own narrative? And what inner script governs your romantic performances? People are sitting quiet, acting like they don't put on a show. We did a show a couple months ago called Are You in a Showmance? In what ways might the desire to perform love actively undermine the authenticity of deep, intimate connection. I'm very interested to see how we're going to answer some of these questions. We've got callers on the line, and I'm going to get them in. Can the very act of managing a partner through predetermined roles be a modern manifestation of a spiritual script written by past traumas? Listen, that's a question for you right there. Can the very act of managing a partner through predetermined roles be a modern manifestation of a spiritual script written by past traumas? Is the drive to secure external validation in love an unconscious echo of our attachment to performance? And how might this be rooted in early life imprinting? Who taught you your role? Did your insecurity teach you your role? How does performative masculinity or femininity serve to mask a fear of vulnerability and thus limit true self-awareness? Oh man, relationship ain't about all of this. People just like each other or they don't like each other. Ain't nobody acting in love. What? When I come forward, I'm going back to the phone lines. Let's get it.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
That first hour got up out of here. Love is agape. Ah. Peeling back the layers. You already know. Hey, Miss JB, we people's for real, like in real life. Like we see each other in real life. Miss JB, thank you for always supporting and riding with your brother. Thank you. Thank you. And what's crazy is she didn't only give to the super chat, she also gave to the Cash App. So, damn, thank you, Miss JB. Thank you. I appreciate you.
If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, it's gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's
This
baby.
is a church.
Thank
you.
I just like the kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been
Heel
committed.
bros, no doubt.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
So William,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
So today we're going to talk about the pseudo-empathy of the narcissist. And I'm going to give you also a very lived example today on this one. So what do you want to know about the pseudo-empathy of the narcissist? It's really important for you to understand this. So when we think about sort of pseudo-empathy, this is something that many of you have experienced. This pattern has been brought to my attention. I've experienced it. I've seen clients experience it many times. But it was just done to me this past weekend, so it is so fresh. And it was really brought into starker focus, like I was literally experiencing it in real time. Hopefully, because I just went through it, I can make my point much more clear here as a result. So let's talk again about this concept of the pseudo-empathy of the narcissistic person. What do I mean by that? One thing we have to remember is that it's actually not completely accurate to say that narcissistic people completely lack empathy. They actually have what's called variable empathy. They turn it on and off to get what they need. So it's not pure empathy, but it's more of a transactional empathy, and it turns on when they're actually having a good day. It also tends to be more of a cognitive empathy, saying things like, I understand why you might feel that way, but they really don't have emotional empathy. Oh my gosh, I can see you're sad. How can I be there for you? Cognitive empathy often doesn't leave us feeling much better or supported. It looks like empathy, but it isn't soothing. It's like Splenda instead of sugar. There's also something else that narcissistic people have, which I term macro empathy. And some of this overlaps with what we call communal narcissism. It's empathy for big groups of people from a distance. So feeling bad for a group of people going through a bad time, wartime, refugees, natural disaster survivors, or even getting into sort of an intellectual polemic about people who do bad things. For example, being angry about all people who abuse vulnerable people. This can also result in them berating the people who are actually around them in real life for complaining about the stresses of their lives. How could you complain about your life when there's a war there, or explosion someplace else, or fires burning down this or that? So when you are having real pain or real hurt in your life, the narcissistic person will seem to have tons of empathy for a situation across the world, but have no problem invalidating, diminishing, or gaslighting the emotions or experiences of a person who's standing right in front of them. But to the world, they often look quite empathic because they're so worried about those people on the other side of the world. In my most recent experience that I just had of pseudo-macro empathy, this person was criticizing me for being too hard on narcissistic people and not giving them a chance. And ironically, after the call, I reflected, my life is a damn living monument to giving narcissistic people too many chances. And my messed up health and mind are the inscription on that stupid monument. But the person said that by me commenting on the rigidity of these relationships and the lack of change that we observe in narcissism, or at least that I observe in narcissism, and most of you do too, that I am not giving the narcissistic people a chance. And then the person proceeded to say about 15 terrible, unempathic things to me. I know it was 15 because I wrote them down as it was happening. The irony wasn't lost on me. Mercifully, I was on the phone, so I was sort of able to ruefully chuckle and roll my eyes without the person seeing me, which would have resulted in 30 more minutes of rage if they did. I actually did not follow my own Dr. Ramani rules, and I did the opposite of deep. I defended, I explained, and I engaged, but I will give myself some props for not personalizing. I laid out statistics and other nonsense to this person. It was a total waste of my Sunday morning. And while in this case, my providing evidence actually did shut this person down, the conversation really made me reflect on this sort of moralistic empathy that this person had for all of the narcissistic people out there. The absence of empathy this person had for me, a person to whom they're very close.
Dr. Ramani is always cooking. She's always on fire, and I love it. We're talking about people who perform, and like she said, narcissists have something called cognitive empathy or variable empathy. Let me act empathetic because now I can get what I need. But I'm going to go even deeper right after I get my caller in here. Friend of the show, you know who he is. Town Business, Oakland, California. You already know who it is. Sean from Oakland, California. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Oh my goodness, brother. Well, here's my 2 cents. My thing is, If you're in a relationship, because that's really, the foundation of what you were talking about, you have to make sure that you are aware of all of their despairs. You have to make sure that you're aware of.
Sean, we're drunk as fuck, bro.
You have to make sure. By the way, of all your friends, too. I'm that guy, Brother Zoe. I think I said it on your show before. I check in with everybody. I check in all the time. They're probably like, oh, gosh, who's this text coming in? Because I'm of an age. I'm about to be 33 years married and 38 years together.
That's our celebratory keys. Yes.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. And 38 years together. But the point is, there's no perfect way to do it. But the way you do it is you respect. And I know that word gets thrown around so easily, respect this, respect that, whatever. No. I mean, there are moral, things we can agree upon, right? I'm not religious, but Jesus, Matthew 25, I mean, that's, welcome the stranger. That's a pretty good one. I like that. I like Jesus. I love Jesus. But, a lot of times people use the Bible to, discriminate. And I don't like that. But, I just say, put our arms around each other. We're in a difficult time, and we're going to get through this somehow, I think, because that's the way I roll. And I love you, brother.
I love you too, Sean. Guess what you just did?
Oaktown in the house, baby.
Yay! We appreciate the call. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. You know the deal. You know what's interesting? Like we've said before, many people don't understand, like, I'm not a narcissist, or, but guess what? All of us have narcissistic traits. And when you look at attachment theory, and you look at the insecure attachment styles, for the avoidant attachment styles, there is a tremendous amount of overlap in terms of behavior, right? Between the narcissist and the avoidant. Now, this doesn't mean that the avoidant is a narcissist. What it means is they might do the same things, but they have different motives behind why. Narcissists can use strategies linked to more avoidant styles of attaching, such as stonewalling and the silent treatment or devaluation, right? But they're not doing it for the sake of trying to break you. Typically, the avoidant types are not grandiose. They don't have this sense of I'm better than you or entitlement. They don't have that. They just haven't been able to develop a comfortability level with closeness, attachment, like, being close, being intimate, being vulnerable. They haven't really mastered that aspect. So they may engage in behaviors that look narcissistic, but they aren't actually narcissists. There's a significant overlap between grandiose narcissism and the avoidant attachment, but avoidants don't necessarily believe they are superior and entitled to special treatment and unconditional admiration. Diddy, Drake. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean this. Allegedly, I'm sorry. Both narcissists and avoidants practice emotional distancing, but they do it for different reasons, right? An avoidant is just uncomfortable, leaning into vulnerability. Do you see? I'm giving you the reasons why people perform. I'm giving you the reasons why people show up and say, let me do a dance. Where there's a pattern, a traumatic pattern that has been established, there will be an appetite. There will be a need. There will be a pursuit for supply. You don't even have to be narcissistic to go after something, right? To want it, to desire it. You don't have to be narcissistic to need supply. Codependents need supply. They need to feel wanted by somebody, even if it's a toxic pattern that feels familiar. It's tough, man. Who wrote your love script? This is why, and thanks to Dr. Joshana Johnson, this is why I don't get down with the love languages. My love language is this. Is it born from somewhere? And if you've never probed deeply and asked the question, how do you know your love language isn't an extension from an attachment wound? How comfortable are you being your unadulterated self in relationship? I'm asking. Is there a moment where you feel kind of like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that? That might have messed things up with us. Ooh, I shouldn't have revealed that. And if you can't reveal the real, why are you in a relationship? Because you want something. Even if it's love, even if it's approval, validation, acceptance, acknowledgement, you want something. When you want, it's because you haven't learned to cultivate from within. When you want something from a partner, please show up. Please give me what I refuse to give myself. The Thespian lover. Who wrote your love script? What event wrote your love script? In a world where every gesture and every word becomes part of an unyielding performance, the search for authentic connection often seems like attempting to decipher a secret code written in a lost language. Our modern relationships, steeped in the rituals of performative masculinity and femininity, cognitive empathy, that too often becomes a rehearsed act, and even performative sex. Ooh-wee. Pose the question, who indeed is the Thespian lover? This persona, a product of societal expectations and intrapersonal defense, masks the deeper truths about our vulnerabilities and desires, drawing from the depth of clinical psychology, metaphysical insights, and even the poetic anguish portrayed by Rumi and Khalil Gibran. One can discern that the Thespian lover operates as both actor and audience in a drama of self-imposed roles. At its core lies the fear of abandonment and the relentless pursuit of external validation, a dynamic vividly explored in the works of Paul Bloom's Against Empathy, and the intricate dissections of covert narcissism by Louisa Cox. These fears prompt us to seek commitment in a way that transforms genuine empathy into a scripted performance where every interaction is a calculated scene designed to appease the inner critic and ward off emotional neglect. Yet the roots of this performance extend beyond mere societal impositions. They are interwoven with our earliest imprints of attachment. Think of the Peter Pan syndrome, a failure to launch into maturity, of relational authenticity, which reveals an enduring reluctance to embrace vulnerability. Love is the enemy. Vulnerability is the enemy. Closeness is the enemy. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've developed a coping mechanism. I've developed a coping mechanism that keeps me at distance. The distance feels like freedom, right? The emotional distance feels like freedom. Whew, I'm so glad I ain't got to worry about how they feel. I'm so glad I ain't got to hear about their problems. You know, being by myself is just wonderful. But then, when your heart aches for something more, how is it that you know how to tap dance, soft shoe, moonwalk, and boogaloo, right, to get what you want from another? When love becomes a series of rehearsed lines rather than a spontaneous expression of inner truth, we reduce risking our relationships to a mere factory of external validation. It's sad. In this scene, partners are unwitting collaborators in a drama where the cost of perfection is the very absence of genuine self-reflection and mutual growth. You want love from another because you're afraid to mine it out of yourself. So you will perform for others to get them to give you what you refuse to give to yourself. When we come forward, the voice of reason going back to the phone lines.
1, 2, 1, 2, you ready?
KVLA Talk.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That boy Halliburton and Reggie Miller, the Knicks.
What? Indiana?
Knicks was up by like 15 points.
Yeah, I saw your face.
Your boy Aaron Neesmith was just 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 to the point where it was Knicks was up 2 points. Tyrese Halliburton did the same thing with Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Boogieing. Came back to the 3-point line. Boop.
Cash.
Boop. Boop. Kawhi.
Damn.
Then here's the thing. KD all over again.
Really?
Toe on the line. So they went to overtime.
Oh.
It wasn't a game winner, but they went to overtime. And Indiana just smashed and they didn't smash, but they won by like 3 points.
Wow.
Taking them to the rack, topping with a couple tip-in dunks.
Wow.
Great game. Great game.
Love it. I hope you guys are enjoying tonight's topic. The show is almost over. Who baking cakes, Miss JB? Me? Oh. But is it making sense? I'm going to send him a message, tapped in. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you, Davey Lee. Davey Lee sent 2 cash apps. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Davey Lee. Thank you, Davey Lee. Thank you, Okay, Lee. Arkansas in the house. Hey, man. Arkansas is having some tough weather, too. I hope you guys are okay. I. Oh, I. Oh, I. Oh, do.
The money be calling again and again and again. Don't wanna do nothing but win. Starting to think that I'm moving too fast again. Tell me you love, show me your love. Let me see that you love. Let me feel that you love. You show me, girl. They got love for a dog. Before we stay down, we go up. Ain't no living inside of this world. Yeah, I'ma run this money out with you. Tell me go win, I'm thankful. You don't do the I'ma show you all what a freak do. Come and hop in the whip when I slide through. Trap house with his milk, that's a drive through. Got that money coming in all different ways. Feeling like I'm from around. They can't see up in my attention. Why you all up in my business? I can show you how to get it. You show me your intention. Like a first lot of I been. Just tell me what it is, baby. Feeling like so fake. Give me two minutes. I done made a whole lot of vision.
So I thought about a client I once had. Let's call him Roger. And Roger's mother was an active practicing drug addict. He never found out who his father was. And when it became, his mother was neglectful and was a terrible circumstance, and Roger ended up in foster care. And he was a really lucky kid because he had great foster parents who, in fact, actually, several years later, worked with the mother. She signed Roger, the consent to be adopted. So he was adopted by this wonderful foster family. And Roger is brilliant, a very, very smart guy. And he went to college, and then he went to law school, an Ivy League law school, no less. And he met his wife when they were both law students. They got married, did both of them very well, had one single child. I think it was a daughter. But Roger had this really huge problem. And that was, he had this trauma of childhood, this abandonment trauma. And then he felt like he'd come from kind of another echelon of life. And he was always somewhat fearful people were going to look down on him. They would somehow see that he was an imposter. And here's where the ambiguity came in. He was unable to tell whether people liked him or not. So, for example, he'd go to a dinner party with his wife, and when he would come home, he would say things like, that guy over there from this law firm, he clearly, tried to undercut me. I think he thinks I'm an idiot. And the wife would say,
Like videos on.
he was perfectly nice. This is a projection. This is your thing. It's not his thing. And it actually became a marital problem. It's like whatever happened, there couldn't be a phone call that Roger wouldn't think he was being dissed or he was being patronized or something like that. And so here's what that would mean. There was ambiguity for Roger. Am I liked or not? Then he would project his abandonment issue onto the situation and decide,
most usually that he had been ignored or patronized or disrespected. And so he learned just to name that. There it is. Here's abandonment, and that's what my story is about. It's an abandonment story, and it comes up all the time, and it feels absolutely real, but I have to question it because clearly it's not always real. So that, just learning to question the story by naming it, there it is. The abandonment issue was terrific because it does come down the amygdala, and it creates a space for curiosity, to be a little bit more mindful. Like, even if I really think I was being dissed, there's just a possibility I have to entertain that maybe I wasn't. So then the next stage is to say what Roger would say. He'd remind himself, this is something that creates a problem in my life. It's difficult for my wife. It's a point of conflict, and I need to heal it. So that's kind of a reframe. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this because I have to heal this pattern. And then finally, the claiming part, he claimed the ambiguity by saying, the truth is, I'm not sure whether this person liked me or not. But whether they did or not, it all comes down to me. Do I like myself? And can I claim that I'm a good person regardless of what other people think of me? And that was like, he put it up on a piece of paper, he told me, and he hung it on his office wall, what to do when the abandonment story comes up. So there you go.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Tensions rose as President Trump accused South Africa of genocide against white Afrikaners during a meeting with President Ramaphosa, who says he wants to discuss the issue.
You are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about.
Ramaphosa denied the allegations, telling Trump there is a minority party behind the tensions between blacks and whites. Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial is back on in New York City. A Homeland Security agent described the Miami raid, revealing drugs and baby oil. And Chris Brown is out on $6.7 million bail after a London court hearing tied to a 2023 nightclub assault. He was arrested last week but can now move forward with his European tour starting June 8th. His next court date is June 20th. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Friday, May 30th through June 1st for the three-game series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second
But
autopsy,
shit, it's $7 million bail.
and a final
It's crazy.
autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual.
Ida, it's okay.
Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise
It's
during
okay.
contact with law enforcement officers during arrest,
You donate your presence.
transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by any.
Yeah, 10% of that, $700K, that's still a lot.
Include the victim's spouse, partner, relative,
And that's if it's 10% over there. Might be 10% in America, but is it 10% over there, or is it a straight up 6.8 million?
autopsy, then click on request. At KBLA, we believe in
You don't know. I don't know. It's another country different rules. Shit.
Community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, it might be more.
Thanks for calling Discover.
Might be 50%. You never know. And it's the euro too. Yeah.
Automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, I work here. Okay. I was just double checking. Get it? Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash
Yeah, I
back
do.
you earned at the end of your first year? Oh, you get me, Nia. You can say that I double get you. I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn
The birthday is Friday.
terms at discover.com/credit card.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care.
Do you live in the hood? That's how you come into the chat. Your handle is already fishing with the boys. Now, either you Jesus
What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga
or something else.
protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members.
Leave us.
With the help of Propel
Remember?
and Michael B. Jordan,
The flitter,
they now have a
leave
yoga
us.
and wellness studio in Los Angeles
The
and
wave,
Walk Good
leave
Yard.
us.
To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces,
The shoe,
visit
leave us.
walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram.
And then there's
at
just the voice.
Walk Good LA. This is a community
Leave
call
us.
to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
The Comedy Connection series.
The shoe,
featuring
leave us.
KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up
Play the tape. What tape?
live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes while the alpha male of comedy,
That dude got a
Ray
whole
has
page.
hand-selected supremely
Fishing with the
talented
boys.
comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number because Ray, he's going to text it live and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
That was funny though. I like that. That was funny. Leave us.
That caused me to want to learn. That's a better word. So the people in your life, say God sent, the God sent folk. Can y'all handle what I'm saying? The God sent folk
Do not sing your praises.
Huh. Huh.
The God-sent folks, the first word out of your mouth when a God-sent person really comes in your life is they're a hater. Because a God-sent person knows I'm not in your life to pamper you.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I'm here to see your weaknesses and show you yourself so you don't fail.
Huh. My.
Y'all better know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all, what I say go?
Uh-huh.
John 13, verse 34. Can y'all handle this?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Come on, say, I don't want my love to be cold.
I don't want my love to be cold.
Love grows cold in a marriage.
Ooh.
If I go there, we'll be there. We'll be there. Let me read the scripture. A new commandment I give unto you, that you say new commandment.
New commandment.
How's these cats missing this? How's these Hebrews out there on the corner screaming, cussing people out?
Hey, don't come for the Hebrew Israelites.
Commandment. Now you saying you keeping all 661, I guess, laws, but this commandment.
613. Get it right. Come on.
This commandment trumps. You ever been playing spades and you throw out the joker?
Right.
Joker trumps every.
Yes, sir.
This trumps all. Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
This trumps. You sitting there with an ace. That was their highest card at one time.
Wait, is this the big trump or the little trump? Come on, passer.
Wow, that was the highest card we had until the joker came out.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
This trumps all of that.
Yes.
This is the new command.
My.
This joke is so powerful that all other commands are wrapped up in this one. If you do this one command, you will never be guilty of the other one.
Now tell us now.
That's why the penalty for not loving is so great.
Mm-hmm.
That's why love is so hard.
Uh-huh.
Because when you love, you got 661 laws wrapped up in this one law of love.
613. But go ahead. Uh-huh.
That's why you be trying with so many different facets of love. When you think you got it down, when you think you're in love, it ain't. It's always be another facet of love. Why? Because you got 661 laws of God.
613. But go ahead.
You on every one of them.
Uh-huh.
Now the answer to everything is always love. It's always love.
Uh-huh.
But you will get 661 different ways to apply love. That's why love is the ultimate.
Yes.
Say the ultimate.
The ultimate.
It's the character of God. It's who we say love.
Love.
Now, say a new commandment I give unto you. So.
Listen, don't let your love go cold. Love is cold because somebody said somewhere you weren't enough, or you didn't deserve emotional attunement, or you deserve some type of inconsistent in and out type of interaction. No. Made you feel a little insecure, man. It hurt you in some way. No, that's not who you are. Don't you know? Just because they didn't give you all you needed does not mean you can't give yourself all you need once somebody triggers that knowledge in you. Shows like this will do it. You don't have to perform to get it. All you have to do is become a self-miner. Start to excavate those wounds. I promise you, they will reveal great truths about who you really are and what your full capacity is. We got Davy Lee from Arkansas in the building, the sticks. What up, Davy Lee? Come on, man. You done brought us down to the country. Talk to me, good brother.
I'm closer to the city, man. It ain't no knock. But you know, hey, it is what it is.
Come on, man. That whole little area over there, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, Missouri, all of it is over there. Come on.
You right.
We all country in that area, brother. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, my thoughts is, personally, you must perform. You know, if you don't perform, you're not going to figure out what to do and what not to do, how to live and how not to live, how to be and how not to be. Like Shakespeare says, you got to live like that. So you can figure it out. You know, God already know everything, but they don't know what you're going to do next. Well, they do, but at the same time,
it don't know what you're gonna do for what you want to do. You know, so you gotta move in order to figure things out. It's an ever expanding thing, so it expands through your thoughts too. So you just gotta keep moving, man.
Now, let me,
whether it's moving for the right things or wrong things, you gotta figure it out.
let me walk with my brother, my nephew. You my nephew. I know I'm older than you, so let me call you nephew. Let me walk with you for a second. Now, as a young man, I used to be a young man as well. I used to show up in the beginning when I was naive. Ooh, somebody correct me on this. When I was young and dumb and naive, I would show up being my authentic self. And then maybe I had some experiences where being me, just being as I am, wasn't cool or wasn't getting me somewhere. So then maybe I began to incorporate things that I saw other brothers do, or, you know, I have a bunch of uncles. I think a couple of them have already passed, but I think I got like 12 uncles. 12, 13 uncles, like something crazy. And they would tell me things, hey man, modify this, change that. It'll get you a little further. But I think in the performance piece, I was able to get on base, then get to second, third, fourth, and all the way back home. But I was still missing something because it was a performance. I was still missing an aspect of who I really was. I started to become codependent on the performance in order to get what I needed, as opposed to going back to myself and cultivating the truth of me and not giving a damn about what response I got from it. But as I got older, I started to realize the more I am tapped into the truth of who I am, the more attractive I am. What are your thoughts on that perspective?
That's true, man, because, like, the more I really stuck my thumb out there and really got busy, you know, I started to see, you know, people like me more for my performance than me just being me, but at the same time, that's what motivates others, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta push further in order, you know what I'm saying, break the mold for somebody else. Because, like, you see, like, the dog of the pack or the wolf of the pack, the leader, it don't have to fight nobody. They know what's happening when they come through. They just know what's up. You know, either they gonna lock up like pits, and you know you're gonna lose a life, or you know you're gonna bow down. You know, so sometimes you gotta bow down to the greatness within you in order to become, like, you know what I'm saying, what you want to be out of life.
Oh, I love that. I love that, bro. I love that, man. I told my son, you have to be unapologetically you. That's when you're at your most magnetic, and when you're at your most attractive is when you're unapologetically you. If you do anything, and this is from a man to a woman, if you do anything that is remotely fugazi, she might give you a little leeway. But don't think her intuition and her soul didn't register the fugazi in what you did. She might just want the meal. She might just want the experience. You never know.
You're right.
That's why the real you got to shine through every time, bro. Finish. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, I was going to say, man, a wise man told me a man and a woman is the truth. You know, sometimes you're going to get persecution for being the truth, man. Sometimes you're going to get knocked upside the head for being the truth. But sometimes you got to take them blows, man. So you can get right. Man. You get your situation how you want it to be. You know, perfection is always the goal. It may not be attainable in this life, but you can show somebody else how to get there, you know. So,
but do you know what perfection is?
I mean, it seems like perfection is imperfection to me, because God keeps growing.
Come on! Look at David Lee. David Lee, where we at, man? We finna go get some. Come on, man. Where the crab boil at, man? You out here cooking, David Lee. I love what you saying, man. I love what you saying. Guess what you just did, good brother?
I done brought y'all to the sticks. You hear me? To that Arkansas.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? We down in the sticks, man. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580.
Is it good to you? Or Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Hey, Davey Lee, great call.
Hey, so when we get haircuts and lineups and women wear makeup, is that being unapologetically ourselves?
Damn.
Just
It's kind of like man makeup.
Just saying. You know what I'm saying? We get cleaned up.
I hate getting cleaned up.
I gotta be fresh for y'all. Can I just, be all Grizzly Adams, no lineup? Can I be authentically me? Can you love me like that?
Ladies, are you hearing him? Andy is saying, can he be unkept? And y'all be cool.
Just curious.
Ladies be like, nigga, we going somewhere. Tonight, you better shape that shit up,
what
nigga.
I'm saying? But I want to be me, though.
I want to wear a hoodie, goddammit.
But I got to perform now. I gotta get a lineup, and I got to perform, right?
You better get that lineup, Andy. You gonna fuck it off, Andy?
You telling me not to perform.
Andy, hey, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
All right. Not going out then.
Hey, but what you gonna do with the pushback?
Pushback on what?
When she go, damn, man, you didn't even get a fucking lineup. You out here looking raggedy. What you gonna say then?
Sorry, I'm me.
Now,
either you take it or you leave it, right?
And if she leave it, what you gonna do?
Hey, deuces.
Come on, that's how we live.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Deuces.
Deuces, like Chris Brown.
Come on. Andy cooking right now.
Okay, Joe, I hear you.
Hey, man, I think too many men are afraid to let them walk away. Fuck it then. Walk on by, motherfucker.
You know what? That's some real shit. Afraid to walk away. Afraid to potentially have something that you've probably been wanting for a long time.
That's abandonment issues. That whole don't leak nigga, get on. Get gone, cuz. Get gone.
My only concern, and I'm speaking very general, if we're talking just men, if we're unapologetically ourselves, we will be true assholes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that helps at all.
I think women are attracted to assholes.
That's crazy. But then when you actually deal with us, it's too much, right?
Well, they're attracted to it, then they want to control it. They want to aim it. You can't aim an asshole. Zoe talking crazy tonight. Can't aim an asshole.
ఆత్మతత్వాన్ని మనం అనుభవించాలంటే
experience this self.
దీనికంటే సులభమైన మార్గం మరొకటి లేదు.
It is the easiest principle.
ఈనాడు ప్రత్యేకమైన మార్గాలు పెట్టుకోవడం చేతనే అనేక ట్రబుల్స్ అంతా మనకు ప్రాప్తిస్తున్నాయి.
Because we have got so many modes, so many paths, we are confused.
భ్రాంతుల చేతనే మనకు కన్ఫ్యూజన్ అంతా వచ్చేస్తుండాలి.
This confusion is because of our
ఈ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ వల్ల ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతుండాలి భగవంతుడికి నీకు ఉన్నటువంటి సంబంధం.
The confusion will take you to the loss of the fuse, breaking the connection between you and God.
కాబట్టి భగవంతుడికి నీకు ఎట్టి కనెక్షన్ లేదు.
And today what's happening? There's no connection between you and God.
You are God.
You are God, know that.
I am God.
I am God.
He is God.
He is God.
Everything is God.
Everything is God.
దీని తత్వాన్ని గుర్తించాలనుకుంటే
To know this nature,
మానవత్వం నుంచి దివ్యత్వానికి ప్రవేశించాలి.
One has to travel from the level of humanity to the
అది
divinity.
సత్తని గుర్తించాలి.
One has to know this.
ఆ సత్తును గుర్తించేస్తే అందరూ ఒక్కటే.
Then once Sat is known, we'll experience oneness.
కాదే కాదు.
We are not different, separate.
నిజంగా మీరు ఆకారాలు చూసి వేరు భావం పొందుతున్నారు.
Because of the external form, we consider ourselves
కానీ
different.
ఆనందం వచ్చేది ఒక్క దైవం నుంచినే.
But the bliss we get it from God only.
నీలో లేదు ఆనందము.
There is no bliss in you.
నీవంతా ఒట్టి బెలూన్ మాదిరి ఉంటున్నావు.
And you are just like a balloon.
ఈ ఆనందాన్ని కలుపుకున్నప్పుడే నీకు ఏకమైపోతుంది.
Then once you fill it up with the bliss,
దైవం 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 దైవం.
you will know the unity, only God, from God
దైవమే నీ యొక్క నిజమైన ప్రాపర్టీ.
Hey man, Sai Baba even had to start speaking in English. He said, hold on, I am God, you are God, he is. He said, you know what, interpreter, sit down. You're not getting my words right. I love it. I love it. Listen, man, I know it's very difficult for people to hear these kinds of concepts and ideas, but the reality of it is we've got to catch our spirituality up to our technological advancement. We are more technologically savvy than we are psychologically and spiritually savvy. And relationships is this environment where there is an opportunity to grow up, to expand. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the words and the packaging and whatever. But the reality of it is relationships are here to expose you to you. Now, tonight's topic, we're talking about performing. You can say approaching relationships from a performative perspective is a type of imposter syndrome. I can't really be me because I haven't fully accepted me. But I want to be fully accepted by this person. So I'm going to listen, I'm going to gather data, and I'm going to construct a performance, right, that is tailor-made to this person's preferences based on what they've shared with me about themselves. That can't last. There's no way that can last. That performance is going to get tiring because it's not connected to the truth of who you are. Right? Self-avoidance is in place. You don't even like the whole you. That's what Carl Jung meant by individuation. That's how you become a whole person. You got half people looking for their better half to make a whole. No, you have to go into the relationship as a whole. That's individuation. That's what Carl Jung meant by that. But what is individuation? But self-realization, but self-actualization, moksha, nirvana, Christ consciousness. That's all it is. It's difficult to achieve. It's hurtful. It's fearful. And it's all around you. You'll go watch Empire Strikes Back and watch Yoda tell Luke Skywalker to go into that cave. And he says, should I take my lightsaber? He said, no. You take what is with you. Who does he face? He faces his fear. Darth Vader comes out. Then he destroys Darth Vader, cuts his head off. The mask pops off of Darth Vader, and it's Luke inside the Darth Vader. Do you see? The mirror of relation. People don't really want to do the work. It's in the TV shows, and you go, oh, that's fantasy. That's not real. I'm telling you now, from psychology to quantum physics to movies, you saw Sinners, the writing interwove some real stuff in it, and it triggered America, Black America in particular. If we don't hear it in the format that we were raised in, it's sacrilegious or something is wrong with it. This is why on this show, I incorporate it all with no judgment. Clinical insights remind us that managing a partner through a predetermined script not only hinders true intimacy, but also risks reinforcing patterns of emotional manipulation. The meticulous tactics outlined in text, like Gaslighting by Stephanie Moulton Sarkis and Mind Games by Pamela Cole, expose a darker choreography. You mean to tell me there's a dark dance going on? Yes, the dance of manipulation, the dance of projection. I'm not really this person, but I'm going to be the person I think you want me to be so I can get what I want. Right? Right? This dark choreography, one where the scripted roles become tools of control, subtly masking the scars of past trauma, even as they promise a semblance of stability. It is this interplay between act and actor. We witness the transformation of cognitive empathy into what can only be described as performative empathy. A courtesy that, while seemingly kind, ultimately reinscribes the boundaries of an artificial relationship. Listen, I started the conversation. It's really up to you to finish it. I don't proclaim to be right. I just want to start the right conversations that keeps these nuanced discussions going. I'll be back tomorrow. It's my Friday. Listen, Friday is actually my birthday. So y'all come in, tap in with me tomorrow and celebrate my birthday, the Voice of Reason. And don't forget, get your tickets, Miracle Theater, May 31st. It's going to be crazy. TheMiracleEnglewood.com. Go there now. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for tapping in. Much love, much love, much love, much love. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Love y'all. Deuces.